10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to Dax Chats. Again, on this episode, I've got to ask you a question. What does Sir Elton John and Australian country music have in common? Why did this artist get signed by RCA, but they never released an album? She has done 7 studio albums with an 8th on the way. She has had an immense career. She's had some scares with the C word. We'll talk about that. She is the original hillbilly picking rambling girl, and she ain't your swinging door. I'm talking about Catherine Britt, and today, Dax Chats to Catherine Britt. Here she is. How's that?
Wow.
There you go. No problem. So let's delve right back to the beginning. You did an EP back in 1999 or something like that, a 4-track EP, and then an album came out after that, and that was an independent album, but then it was re-released by ABC Music, and that's where you became a signed artist. Sir Elton John actually heard your first album and took it to the people at RCA in the States.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a pretty strange time in my life. I was a kid, really. I was 15, 16 when I put together my first album and then released it, as you said, independently. And I was really fortunate to get my first record deal at that time with ABC and Universal. And yeah, it was kind of things were taking off. I was happy. I was on tour with Casey Chambers on her first the Barricades and Brick Walls tour. That was a really big tour for her with, of course, her big number one that went crazy that next year. So things were already feeling really good, and I was really excited about, I was still in high school. So, all this stuff was just fun to me. Actually, I left high school to go on tour with Casey Chambers, so I lie. But, I was still young, and I think, I just didn't expect any of it. And I think that was what the beauty of it was, is that it all really came out of nowhere and was really organic. And even the way that, Elton John reached out to me was just all really organic, how it all happened. And I just think it's a beautiful story because, there was nothing sort of music business about it. It was really natural. And he came across my record in a record shop, old school, mate. And yeah, just loved it and got in contact with my team and believed in it so much that he got me a record deal. So pretty weird, bit of a Cinderella story, really. I still feel weird telling the story.
It is a bit of a Cinderella story, excuse me. But you headed off over to Nashville with all of the, at 17 years old, you are still the youngest Australian country artist to ever appear on those hallowed grounds, the Opry stage. That is awesome. You signed the deal with RCA, but RCA did nothing with you. What happened?
Yeah, I was with them for 6 years. I mean, we did a lot together behind the scenes. I know it seemed like, because I never released an album and stuff, that it never really did a lot. But they kind of signed me knowing I already had, something, a bit of a career down here in Australia. And what they did was we made full albums. We actually made 2 full albums with 2 different producers. The first one was Keith DeGull, who produced Alan Jackson and all those sort of guys, George Jones. And then the second one, Little Wildflower, was done with a guy called Brett Beavers, who does, he's done a bunch of different people as well. So, so it was a lot of work over those 6 years, and we released 3 singles into the US market that did pretty good. They were like top 40 hits in America. So they weren't like number ones or anything, but I think, they were a good sort of grounding. And after 6 years, I think I just wasn't I don't know, nothing was quite catching enough. You know, my first single came out and then Taylor Swift released Tim McGraw. And of course, we know what happened there. Taylor Swift became Taylor Swift. And my
And
second,
can you believe she's gone back to country? I can't believe
yeah,
it.
yeah, no, I can't believe it. But yeah, so it's funny with the music business. It's all about timing, and I think, you know, at the end of the day, when I look back on it as a bit of a story in my life and my journey, you know, I was a kid, and I don't think I was probably even ready for all of that either. You know, I moved back to Australia at 23, still a kid, and sort of figured out what I was going to do next. And I just really loved being home in Australia. And I still go to, well, not right now, but I still go to America once a year and tour. And I think that's what that did for me. It opened up a window to have a fan base over there that I'm able to access and, you know, have for the right reasons. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, like couple of your songs, I remember when I was growing up, yeah, I was also trying to get into country music. I did my first EP in 1997, I think it was. It went nowhere. Don't worry. I've gone nowhere ever since. My last, I think my 2019 single, which I wrote with Troy Kemp, went nowhere. You know, it's just one of those things. But you know, your first, I loved Hillbilly Pick and Ramblin' Man. That was an awesome song. And then on your second album, you had Swingin' Door, and I was like, that's a perfect song. That is just brilliant. So tell me about those early days with those couple of songs.
Yeah, I think, you know, in the early days, I was just writing, you know, from a really, just a really honest place. I had no preconceived ideas of what I had to be or what I had to do. I was just writing. I love to write songs. And I think there's so much beauty in that, you know, that first album in particular. I was just coming home from high school and writing a song that day, you know, about whatever had come to mind. A lot of the time I was just writing stuff and didn't really even know what I was talking about. You know, I'd never been in love before. I'd never drank anything before, and I'm, you know, singing songs about drinking whiskey and beer and pretending I'm, you know, old country soul. So I think, you know, for me, it was just a real learning ground in those early days. And then the first record with Too Far Gone that I made over in Nashville was actually a really different experience, because I started doing some co-writing, which I'd never done before. And that really opened up my eyes to, you know, a whole different, you know, learning how to write a proper craft, you know, and I learned so much from that and got so much out of that over the 6 years of getting to co-write with big, you know, big time songwriters and number one hit songwriters, and really an experience. So I learned a lot from it. Yeah.
So during your career, you've had 4 golden guitars, 3 of them for Female Entertainer of the Year, which is absolutely fantastic, and all very well deserved. And the last one was in 2015 for the Bone Shaker album, which had a very strong meaning, because you were actually battling cancer at the time, or you'd found out you'd gone into remission at the time of releasing this album.
Yeah, the album actually came out, and a little bit after that, I think it was the week it came out, I found out that I had breast cancer. Yeah, so it was a very heavy time and a very heavy tour, because I had a big release schedule. You know, I was going out through Lost Highway Universal, and I had this tour, and you know, I remember playing at Broadbeach, used to be called Broadbeach Country Music Festival. Of course, now it's Groundwater. But I remember playing there, and I had this huge secret. You know, I knew I had breast cancer, and we hadn't sort of told anybody yet. And I just sort of kept going on tour and had this surgery coming up. And it wasn't until the night before my surgery that I announced it on social media that I'd been diagnosed. But it was a really good time in my life. I look back on, you know, with a lot of blur. But yeah, I'm really proud of it. I got through, and I'm now, you know, well over 5 years cancer free. So feeling good and healthy, and, you know, in the right place. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, obviously, I want to talk about the pandemic, because you had a whole heap of stuff prepared to go, ready to go. You were going to do this tour that you're starting to do, but you've minimized the tour, the Bush Pubs tour. You were all prepared to go out on that, and COVID hit and shut everything down, and you had to switch everything around. how was the pandemic for you? Or how is
Yeah,
it? It's still going.
Look, I think it's been interesting for us musicians because we've really just gone into a total world that we're not at all used to. You know, we spend the majority of our life on the road, and that's how we make a living, and how we're able to, you know, access fans and get out there and sell records and all that sort of stuff. So it's a strange feeling to not have anywhere to go. I think that's the most sort of mental health thing for us musicians, is like not being able to even plan or know when to plan for. So it's been tough. I mean, I was really lucky that I was in the middle of the Bush Pubs tour when it hit, and then I was actually up in Buka in Queensland, and I just sort of came home and I got across the border just in time before they closed, and I had my kids with me, and you know, went home, and I was very lucky that weekend. My album, I decided to be independent on this record for the first time in 20 years. So I just crowdfunded my album, and that weekend is when the crowdfunding finished. So I reached my goal of 35,000, and I just was really, I think I was one of the lucky ones that had, okay, well, now I'll go make an album, you know. So I was sort of, I took advantage of the time off, I guess, to go and do something creative, but I was very lucky in that way. And I don't think, if it wasn't for JobKeeper and things like that, you know, and I was doing my weekly lives and things like that, you know, I wouldn't be sane. So it's nice to be back on the road again, and we're hitting the road, and, you know, as you said, we're doing the Bush Pubs tour in a very scaled back version, very COVID safe version. Which should be interesting, you know, no dancing, no singing along. It's going to be very strange doing the whole signing thing at the end of the night, and
Very
I don't know how
settings. Yes, very intimate
yeah,
settings.
so weird. But you know what? I'm so excited just to be out and be playing music soon. So that's I'll do it in whatever capacity I can. I don't care. I'll make it work. So even if I'm playing to 2 people, I don't care.
So we got the press release today that New South Wales has obviously been cancelled again. Victoria obviously is cancelled, and Tasmania is tentative at this point. Yeah. So
well, they haven't reopened the borders as far as I know, but we've got all our fingers crossed for November, which is when the dates are. So who knows? You just don't know what's going to happen between now and then, do we? So
no, absolutely not. I mean, you know, if you don't know, I'm actually in China, so I do. Yeah. I live in Hangzhou. I live in Hangzhou in China. I used to live in Beijing, and so I've been through the pandemics from day one, from the 23rd of January. Yes.
Wow, it must be crazy. Yeah, that's very interesting. Wow, I didn't know that.
Well, the numbers have gone down dramatically and stuff here, but obviously we're coming back into autumn and winter now. We're going to, you know, get out of our summer, so the flu season's coming back. So there is the possibility that it's going to ramp up again. So we're all expecting the worst right now.
Yeah, I bet. Poor thing. Yeah, that's horrible. Well, stay safe.
Yeah, of course I will. I like my little studio. I stay here all the time.
Me too, by the sounds of it. Yeah.
I'm a stay-at-home dad. My 2.5-year-old son is napping right now, and that's why I get to do these things. So yes, as you said, you absolutely decided that you wanted to have complete control over this new this new project, which is called Home Truths, right?
Yep.
And so you've gone completely independent. Now, how is that compared to being in a record company? I mean, I get, you know, the reason why. I think that's a fantastic reason, you know, like giving something to your kids, having a hold of the masters and owning the copyright all yourself, and, you know, not having to have percentages go to here and there. And, you know, I know what it's like. So how the decision must have been quite difficult to go through to start off with, and then what's the difference between being a signed artist to being a completely independent artist?
Oh, huge difference. You know, I've been signed essentially my whole career to one record label or another. And I've had everything sort of signed. You know, I was signed to publishing my whole career, and always had an agent, always had a manager, all these things, all these people doing things for me and taking their cut, you know, for the job they were doing, I must say. But I guess the difference between, you know, being on a label, which I was on a label when this album started, you know, coming into my head, and I actually spoke to them about this feeling I had about giving my kids my masters, and I felt like it was something I just had to do, you know, for them. And I was very lucky. They're beautiful people at Universal, and I was on a label called Lost Highway, and they let me out of my deal to go and make this record independently. So I was really lucky to have them support that and let me walk away without any issues or, you know, no lawyers or anything like that. So that was really nice. And it's a very scary thing to do, but so far I've loved it. You know, I've been able to handpick my team, the exact people I want to work with that I think are the best in the business of what they do. And I have an incredible team around me and an amazing manager based out of Nashville. Just, yeah, really hardworking people who are, you know, I've given everyone their jobs and everyone we keep in check. You know, I'm like sort of the CEO, I guess, of the business, and it feels really good. Yeah, it feels really good. So I bought my publishing back, so I'm completely independent now. So it feels pretty good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now the album's called Home Truths, but on Friday, this Friday, you are bringing out the first single, which is called "I Am a Country Song." Please talk me through the song, because I believe the premise came from talking to a friend overseas about what's on the radio.
Yeah, well, whenever I go to Nashville, I stay with my friend, my best mate there that was like, I call her Mother Teresa because A, her name's Teresa, and B, she was like mother to me when I moved over there at 17. And she's not that much older than me, but I just really looked up to her like a mom. And she, you know, we just landed in Nashville and she'd been through all this crazy stuff in her life. And actually a few days before we got there, her partner had just died. He just passed away. He had a horrible horse accident, fell off a horse. Oh, no. It was just terrific. And I was so glad to get there, like, and be with her at this horrible time. And, you know, I got in the car and we were just sort of making conversation. And I said, so what's new, you know, in Nashville, what's going on? Like, who's being played on the radio in these days, you know, what's new? And she just looked at me with her total Southern belle face and accent and said, oh girl, I don't need the radio to tell me what's wrong. I am a country song. And I was like, oh my God, I'm writing that down. That is the best line ever. So I wrote it on my phone. And yeah, when it came to writing for this record, I pulled it out and kind of wrote the song a little bit around her and a little bit around sort of people that I'd met, you know, traveling around that, you know, live in the bush and live the tough life and live country music. So that's kind of what it's about. Yeah.
Would you like to do a Dax Chats acoustic version of the song for us?
Sure. I just practiced this before I got on here because I wanted to make sure that I didn't stuff it up. I haven't done this a lot yet, so hopefully I don't. But I'm very proud of this and I'm very excited to get it out. A new video as well that was self-directed and self-produced. Everything's so independent now. So I was pretty proud to do that.
All right.
Now here we go.
Everybody, this is Catherine Britt and her brand new single, I Am a Country Song, comes out this Friday the 28th. And right now we have an exclusive acoustic version. Here she goes. Catherine Britt, ladies and gentlemen.
Rain don't fall. All this bitter facts grows and the gum stands tall. While these roots are buried deep in me, oh, I can't bleed. Mama liked to play your music loud. Heavy drinking, Daddy taught me how. Nothing else to do on a Friday night but waste the time. And I know that I is just a way of life. Broke my heart in pieces many times. You think I find my way by number 3, but that ain't me. First was young love with the wrong man. Second was passion with a heavy hand. Third time ended with a loaded gun and the bottle won. Yeah, and I know old Hank would understand, and I know George Jones would be my friend. No, I don't need the radio to tell me what's wrong. Well, I am a country song. Well, yeah. Yeah, they always seem to get it right. It's like they wrote those songs about my life. And I know old Hank would understand, and I know George Jones would be my friend. No, I don't need the radio to tell me what's wrong. Yeah, and I know old Hank would understand, and I know George Jones would be my friend. No, I don't need the radio to tell me what's wrong. Yeah, I am a country song. I am a country song. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
All right. I tell you what, I am excited. There you
Thank
go.
you so much.
And Miss Catherine Britt, you are a country song. My goodness, you are as brilliant now as you were way back when you started. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. It's been wonderful to have you. I look forward to the album, which is called, of course, was partly crowdfunded, which was fantastic. And I can tell you this country song will be playing on the Country Thunder Network on Friday. How's that?
Yay. I love it. That's awesome. Thank you
No
so
worries.
much. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
No worries. All right, that was Catherine Britt. Her brand new track is called I Am a Country Song, and it comes out this Friday, the 28th. So before it comes out, you can pre-order it or pre-save it. So go to your favorite download sites, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, pre-save, pre-order, do all that. Go to her website, catherinebritt.com, and you can find all the information there. And as I just said, it will be playing on the Country Thunder Network as of this Friday as well. So you can listen to it on the Country Thunder Network, and you can vote for it on the Country Thunder 20. Until next time, this is DJ Dax signing out for Dax Chats, which is proudly supported by Neon Horse in Stanhope, Victoria. Bye for now.